so you guys can watch this later. All right, so I'm going to do the first one here. First thing I'm doing is I'm going to because this I know that it's a hole in this object because it's got the hidden line below. I'm going to dimension it from the top. I can either go to the right or the left. So let's do this. Now this is a little tricky because I actually have to either do eighth or millimeter. I'm going to do millimeter because it's just going to be easier. I don't have to. It'd just be a lot easier. So remember whenever you're dimensioning a full circle, it has to be diameter, not a radius, right? So I'm going to say diameter, and then this is going to be 1, 2, 3. So 6 times 3 is 18. And you generally want to make the dimensions. They're supposed to be an 1/8 inch tall. I'm a little, assuming these are 1/8 inch. It's okay if you're a little big or a little small, but just be consistent. I think that's the rule. Be clean, neat, but just try to be consistent. So if this is my arrow, that's how all my arrows should look. All right, so then what I'm going to do is, before I do the overall, I want to make sure that I dimension the center of this circle. And so what you'll notice that there's already a center mark here. You actually want to use that and extend that beyond. So I'm going to extend this out. And from here, it's space, and then 1, 2, 3. And then I can either go left or right. It doesn't really matter. But let's go right here. You generally don't want to dimension. I don't want to start on the object. I want to have some space off the object. And then I'll go ahead and do something like this. And my arrows. And so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 27. And the other thing is, it's a little tricky because Joe is going to say, why aren't you saying millimeters or inches? What would happen is on my drawing, I would have a notation. 1/4 inch equals 1 foot, or 1 inch equals, or no scale, whatever that is. So remember, you're trying to minimize the amount of lines on your dimensions. All right, so I know where this is. Now I could go to the right or left. I'm going to go to the left here. It really doesn't matter which way you go on this. So I'm going to really extend out. It's always space and then 1, 2, 3. All right, so you want those to match. And then you could put the dimension inside. You can also do things like this. It really doesn't matter. Let's just go from the outside like this, and then this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's going to be 15. You probably don't want to have that any bigger than that, otherwise you kind of lose where this is. Okay, so that's good. That's good. I do need to know the overall dimension. So you wouldn't dimension here. I'm going to give you the overall dimension. And you can do this on either side. So I could do it over here. Let's just do it over here to consolidate my lines. Send this out a little bit. And all right, somebody should do the math for me. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 11. So 33. All right, so remember, I don't need this dimension here because I can, obviously somebody can figure out 33 minus 15 and they'll know what that is. Okay, so I could put the dimension, the overall dimension here. Remember, these are the same part. So you could either have it extend up, or probably the thing to do would be to do something like this. So you can either come up here or come down from the part. Either way is fine. But if I'm going to come down, I have to go beyond the line here. So I do something like this. You always want to center your dimensions. And so this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 6, 7, 8, 15, 45. All right, so this is going to be 45. And then I think that's all the dimensions I have. There's one more, though. I need to know the height of this. 3, 2, 3. All right. So again, I could do the dimensions on the inside or the outside. There's probably enough space to do it on the inside. So that's going to be 18. All right, just holler if I didn't dimension everything, but everything that I need to know, everything that I need to know about dimensioning this part here is done. All right, so I'm very comfortable with that. So I'm going to move on to the next one. Next one's a little tricky because it's got circles. And so I know that they're holes because I've got the hidden line. So that's good to know. So that means that I dimension them from the top view. So that's good. There's finished, finished, finished. It really doesn't make much difference for me on this drawing. I could do things from the top. I'm just going to start here. And again, when you dimension though, one thing you'll notice is you want to try to dimension outside of the part whenever you can. So you could, in theory, dimension inside of here, but generally you want to extend beyond the part. So, and then if there's two, if these are the same, you can do something like this. So this is, if they're the same, you generally, remember, you want to do less is more. So I'd come off this part here and I could go left or right. I'm going to go to the right this time. And I'm going to say, let's see. So there's two of these. So what you say is you say 2x and then dash diameter. Diameter is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Diameter 12. All right. So if there were 6 holes, you'd say 6. We assume that that they're all the same because of this. You're telling us they're all the same because of this. All right. And then just like the other one, I need to figure out, I'm going to dimension from the center. So why don't I just come up here? I start with a center mark and I come up. Let's come up. So 1, 2, 3. And then what I would do is there's another one. So you remember, there's essentially 1, 2, 3 spaces here. So there's the space from the edge to the center, from the center to the center, and to the out to the center. You can do whichever 2 you want, but you don't do all 3. So just kind of consolidating my lines here, I'll extend this up. 1, 2, 3. All right, 1, 2, 3. I'm a little over. It's all right. I try not to be nitpicky about when I grade for those things, like if the lines are too far over, only because I'm more concerned that you're understanding the concept than you're off by 1/8 of an inch. All right, so this is going to be, I'm going to do the overall. And that needs to line up. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. All right, so then let's do the overall dimension here. All right, so this one we said was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so it's 18. And then I have to have the overall dimension, and this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 16. So 16 times 3 is 48. Okay, so now I could dimension either side I wanted. I could dimension this side or this side, but I don't do both. So you're only going to do one. And then honestly, when it's like this, I would just go 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 3 is 12. So put the 12 in there and then extend this. So remember, these lines should all line up though, because that's what it is on the other side. 12. So that is good. Let's do the exact same thing that we're going to do here. So exactly the way we did it on the top, we're going to do it on the side. So there's essentially there's 1 dimension, 2 dimension, 3 dimension, but I'm only going to do 2 and then the overall. So let's do that. And so I'm going to use the current line and then extend out 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right.
You're killing it, Smith.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. I'm a little lost sometimes. We're doing all right here. Okay, so did I do that right? I should have done this one, but we can make this work. You know what I can do here? Let's just do this. I'll keep those lines. All right, so I could do something like, it's okay if you have that in line in there, but let's go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4 times 3 is 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's 12. And you can do something like this with your arrow. All right, and then I'll do the overall. Okay, so 12, 12, 24. So that's going to be 36. All right. I think I'm just about done here, right? So this one's done. This one's done. I'm going to pause it for a second here. All right. So apparently I forgot one dimension up here. So let's get this one. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, and then all right. So then we said this one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 18. Okay. And remember, we don't need to put inches or millimeters because it would be notated on the bottom of the drawing. Okay, so we're going to do 3 now here. Very similar, and so I did notice a lot of people were making the same mistake, where when you're drawing the top view, right, one of these we know is the hole. If these were all rods coming out at us, we would not be putting any dimensions on the diameter. We would certainly indicate where it is in the center from the edge, but we're only going to do one because actually two, I'm sorry, we're going to do, out of the 3, we're going to do 2. This is a hole, it goes all the way through, and this is a hole. So I'm going to do the 2 center, and then realistically, if they're the same, which they are, I'm really only going to do 1, and I'm going to say 2x. All right, so let's do that. So we'll go 2x on this. So you can do this anywhere you want. You can come down to the bottom. You go, just get it off the paper and then make sure that it's pointing to the center of the circle. All right, so I'm going to come up here and then I can either go left or right. The other important thing to realize is if I decide, let's say, for example, I did my drawing vertically where I was doing my dimensions like this, it's okay, but they all have to be the same, right? So meaning that if it's either all vertical or horizontal, you don't switch in your drawing. All right, so this is going to be, there's 2 of these, so I write 2x dash and then 1, 2, 3, 4. I know it's going to be diameter next. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be 12. Right. So we know that the viewer is going to understand that. I don't dimension this because if I dimension this, it would be saying that it's a hole, and that would be impossible, right? So there's only going to be able to have, when you see circles and circles, there's only going to be 1 hole possible. All right, so then we do need to know, just like this, there's 1, 2, 3 dimensions that I need to know. I need to know the center of these 2. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then we need the overall. So I can skip either one I want, but I have to show 2 of the 3. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to arbitrarily start here, go 3 down, 1, 2, 3. I use the center line and I come down. And so I can draw this dimension here. It's a little tight and I'm a little messy. So what I'll do is I'll come on the outside. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 12. And again, to consolidate, let's just do this one right here. Come down, match that up, arrow like this. And this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's going to be 27. Again, whenever you can consolidate the fewest amount of lines possible. All right, now I don't put a dimension here because I still need to put the overall dimension. So I'm going to come down a little bit more on this. Let's go 3 more units down. And make sure I'm not touching the part here. Come off, line those up the best I can. All right. All right, so then the overall size here, wow, there's a lot. That's going to be 54. All right, so just to kind of go over this, I would never put this dimension here. If I did put a dimension here, I would have to eliminate one of these, all right? I'm going to need to know the overall center of this. Fortunately, these are all in the same, these lines are on the same. So remember, now there's 1, 2. There's going to be 2 dimensions and then the overall. So I do either one. I don't, because this is the reason why this is advantageous, because these are all concentric, meaning they're the same center point. I just have to draw one line here. So I'm just going to come out like this and come off the surface. More here. And so this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 18. A little messy there. Take a point off or 2. Okay, 18. I don't do this dimension, but I have to put the overall dimension. You can put the overall dimension on the other side, but remember, you're trying to consolidate your dimensions the best you can. So I'll extend out from there. All right. All right, so then overall dimension is 18, 36. All right, so that looks good. They're all very similar in what we're doing. Now let's go to the bottom. Never dimension to a hidden line, so I'm not going to worry about those hidden lines. I already know the center of that center point, so that isn't necessary. I know where this center line is. I know, so I don't really need to dimension any of these objects that are circles. I already know what that is. I also know the overall dimension is 54 inches. So I don't need that. So really what it appears is I do need actually this diameter. I don't have that. So I need that diameter, and then I just kind of need the overall size of this. All right, so because that is a rod coming at me, let's just dimension that. 1, 2, 3. Let's dimension this. And this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 times 2 is 8 times 3, 24. That's right. I've got to put diameter, though. I almost forgot, because it is a diameter. All right. And then the overall dimensions. Again, you have 1, 2. You don't need both, but you do need the overall, so I could pick either one that I want. Let's go ahead and just go like this. 1, 2, 3. All right. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 18. And then 8. It's going to be again, you can put the dimensions over on the other side, but again, you really want to try to consolidate. So if you're, for example, if Billy, Joe, or Mary Lou decided that they were going to put the dimension on this side, that's fine. I wouldn't take points off, but you really, you could put this 36 on the other side. But again, you're just trying to share as many lines as possible, because when you get a very complex drawing, and we will have some, there are so many dimensions and lines, your head will spin around. So you're really trying to help the viewer as quickly as possible figure out what's going on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 27. I think that's it. So I think we're good on this drawing here. Yeah, so I think we're actually pretty good here. So let me zoom out here on these. I think I have everything we need. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and move to dimension 6. And so which one am I going to do here? First thing I want to do is read the instructions. So equal, it says it's all equal. We'll do the top one. All right, so make sure that we're 3 millimeters or 18. It's just easier for me to do 3 millimeters. Determine best placement. Remember to size, locate, and provide overall dimensions. All right, so again, what's important to know here is we're going to say this is the top view, this is the side view, and this is the front view. This is kind of the standard that we do. And we really want to say less is more. All right, so just kind of keep that in the back of your head, because you know, a lot of people when they start dimensioning, they just go hog wild. All right, so less is more, but at the same time we have to do that. So let's see which one we do here, which is going to be the best for you. So neither of these end in a radius, so they're pretty much the same. They're all end in a square. So if it's a radius, for example, we stop at the center. Like if this drawing ended right here, if it just was a curve, then you only dimension to the center of that curve. But this has a square block, so we're going to dimension there. All right. So if it ends with a radius, a full radius, you just dimension to the center of that radius. But that's not the case. It ends in a block. This one, same thing. So these are all right. So it's pretty much the same way we did it before. First thing I would do is go ahead and dimension the hole. So I'm going to point to the center. I can really do this anywhere. Get it out of my way. All right. And then this is going to be diameter 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 18, right? Diameter 18, so diameter 18. Okay, so diameter 18, and I'm going to put my arrow on there again. However you do it, just be consistent. Then I have another radius I can do here. It's a hole, I know that. So there are lots of different ways to do it. You can come on the outside, on the inside. I typically will come through the inside here because I want to avoid being on the part. I have to go, if I'm going to do this, I have to go through the center mark, right? You have to always be going through the center. And then I can put a little tail on there, and we'll say this is a radius, not a diameter, so it starts with an R. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 3 is 15, so it's going to be radius 15. Okay. Any more circles on here? No. So now this is going to be kind of the same. I think it's in the other exercise too. So I should probably put this in another area. But so here there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 dimensions, right? But we're only going to put 3 and then the overall, because we need to know this shape. We need to know the center of the radius, and that's going to be for both. And then this little guy here. So I could put the radius, the center over here, and just show the center to that circle, and then the overall. But let's just let's try to consolidate this. So what I'll do is, do I need that little guy? I don't think I actually do. Let's go 1, 2, 3. Let's go to the center and see where we are. So you still need that gap. then come out. So that's a little tight, but we're going to live with it. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 21. And then I'll do the overall dimension. And let me see something here. Do I need to show that little tail? What that guy is? Let me think about that for a second. So that's 21. That means it's going to be 42. So that's a little tight here. You'd probably be better off maybe going on the other side, but we're okay. 42. So if I know that radius is, let's do this. Getting a little messy here. You can keep that line if you put it on there. I'm just going to try to clean this up for you a little bit. So I'm seeing too many lines. All right, so just trying to clean this up a little bit because it's getting a little messy for me. Smith, you're killing me. All right, so, but do I know this? Joe, do you think I know this? Would I know what this dimension is? So if I know that this is 42, and this is 21, I know what the radius is. So do I know it's centered though? I don't know if I do.
That's a good question.
I mean, I know it's centered because I can count the grids, but if there was no grids, would I know that that is centered? I don't think I would know that was centered. So I'm just going to play it safe. I could be wrong, but let's just go ahead and dimension one of these. All right, and so I'll play it safe. All right, so
we would generally assume that the grid squares aren't visible.
yeah, you would.
Okay.
3, 6, so it'd be 6. Yeah, so I just think I need to put that in there. I apologize. This one's really messy. You know, if I had any sense, I would have put this on the other side. There's a lot going on here, but yeah. So I have 1, and then I know the center. Yeah, let me think about that. All right, so let's move on here. Let's do this side. It's getting a little messy here. So we need to know the center of this circle and the center of this circle. We know where that ends. We'll know where that ends. So I just need to know the centers and then the overall dimension. All right, so let's come down here. 2, 3. And then we're going to use this center line and just come down from there. And then I'll just come down from this one, the same line, 3 down. Right. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's going to be 18. Well, there's a lot of spaces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 14 times 3 is 42. Okay, I don't need this one because I have to get the overall. So overall will be right here. Okay, need a little space here. It's okay if it's not centered. It's probably better that it's not centered because then I can move it away from the other one. And so this one is going to be whopping 75 millimeters. Okay, so it looks like it's a little, let me darken this one up here. All right. All right, I think that's everything I need. I apologize. This is a little messy. I'm not sure I need that 6 because I would know if it told me it was a center mark here, I would know. If there was like a line going through it that was like this, through the center of this object, I would know that I wouldn't need that because I would know that's I would be confident in the overall dimension. But I don't know it because I have 21 and I have 15. So if it was center mark, I would not need that. But because I don't see a center mark like that, I'm going to just do one of these tails. Okay, so then let's come down here. Again, we don't dimension the hidden lines. So let's come up here like we did on the other drawings. 2, 3. And I have to make sure that I say diameter. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 2 is 10 times 3 is 30. All right, that's good. I need to know the height. I need to know there's 1, 2, 3 increments that I have to measure. One, there's this dimension, there's that height, and this height. So 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do 1, 2, and then the overall dimension. So let's extend this out. Let's go here. 1, 2, 3. All right, so this one. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to be 15. This one is going to be 2, 6. And the overall. I'll get a little more space here. So that's going to be 27. All right, so let's look at this. Do I have everything here? So I know that I could have put the diameter, you guys. I could have put the diameter here. It's a round object, so I don't need it because it says diameter. So I could have put it over here, but it's over there. I know the height of this unit. I know the overall height. I know this. I don't dimension the center, so I think I don't need to dimension anything on this drawing. The best I can tell. I think I have everything. I do think this is a little messy here, so I'll remember, I can't take points off myself, so I'm going to take points off for Joe on this. Because he's my proxy apparently, so that's that. Okay, so that is all we can do on this. Let me pause or stop the recording here, or pause it, whatever. All right, so